Hi everyone, welcome to the ClickSend webinar. We'll be starting shortly. We're just going to give it another minute or so for everyone to join. So hopefully you can see my screen and we will begin soon. So another 30 seconds or so and then we'll start. Great stuff, a few more people coming in. So my name's Dan. I'm the Director of Sales here at ClickSend. I've also got my colleague Alex on the call. Alex is going to be on hand for any Q&As that you guys may have. So within Teams itself, there is a Q&A function. You'll be able to drop any questions specifically in there, and Alex will be able to support. Great stuff. So with that in mind, let's begin. I hope everyone's well. So today we're going to be looking at why SMS is a great method of outreach for you and your customers from a marketing perspective. The title of the webinar is Get Customers to Listen 98% of the Time, and we're going to look at why that is the case. So first things first, SMS, seen, clicked, done. So 98% is the average open rate for an SMS versus email, which is 5%. And that's not just 5% of emails that are actually read, because when I receive an email, I click on it to delete it, that's factored into that 5%, so it's even smaller than that. 29% average conversion rate, so a great method of outreach when you're trying to win customers over or get them to engage with your product or website. 90-second average reply time, so again, if you're opening a conversation or a dialect with your customers, 90 seconds is the time for them to reply. You'll notice that there's a gap, which is the number of times people check their phones a day. So within the chat, what I'd like you to do is respond with how many times you think people check their phones in a day. So there's a little chat box within Teams. Click on chat. How many times do you think people check their phones a day? We've got someone typing. 50, 57, 1,000 times from Mark. Great stuff. 200 from Harry. So the correct answer, believe it or not, is 340 times a day. So you think, put the kettle on, check your phone, walk the dog, check your phone, watch a film with your wife or partner, probably on your phone at the same time. So 340 times a day, people check their phones. And that's why SMS is a great medium to reach out to people. So we're going to look at some best practices. We're going to dive into what makes a good CTA, and then I'm going to give you a quick whistle-stop tour of the ClickSend platform so you get a bit of a feel of how you could utilize it. So there's a few things. SMS stands for short messaging service. So we don't want to send something that is ridiculously long. We want to keep it really clear and concise. Start with your brand name where possible. It helps the reader identify who it is that they're engaging with. Personalize it where you can. So ClickSend and other platforms offer placeholders. So hi first name, and then that will pull through hi Nick, hi Mark, hi Harry. Let them know who you are and offer one clear offer and CTA. So CTA being call to action. You can see on the example message on the left-hand side here, tap here to grab the deal. So it gives them one clear route that they should head down. From a compliance perspective, you have to offer an opt-out when sending marketing messages, similar to that of email, where you click unsubscribe. It's done through an opt-out where they can reply or click a link to unsubscribe from those messaging. Again, you can keep it short. You can send more than 160 characters, but 160 characters is ideal to keep that message really succinct. So CTAs help turn reads into results. So looking at key elements of a CTA, it tells people exactly what to do. So, you can see again on the right-hand side, claim your 10% off, save your seat today, or don't miss out. Without having a CTA in place, it's just a notification. So if you say our website's live, but you don't give them a CTA, a reason to go and visit it, it's just a notification. So again, we're looking at clear call to actions as part of sending out a text message when it comes to marketing. Small words can have a big impact. So book your spot today, similar to when you guys would all receive the link for the webinar, it would have been book your spot today rather than click here, learn more. You will be sent this recording, so you can obviously re-review this slide deck afterwards. I'm conscious of time, so I don't want to spend too long on every bit. You can see, restock your golf balls. It's a personalized, helpful notification rather than you might like this. SMS automation. So a lot of you may think, if I'm sending out SMS, do I have to do it manually every time I want to send it? No, you don't. So ClickSend and other SMS providers will offer the ability to automate. So you can send messages at the right time automatically. So when someone signs up to your mailing list, for example, trigger a text message with a coupon code. It saves you time following up manually. And we integrate with different platforms. So ActiveCampaign, Zoho, Zapier, for example, as well as the ability of using APIs or even just our traditional dashboard, which I'm going to take you through in a minute. A couple of workflows here. Again, I'm not going to go through all of them, but the second one down looks at customers with maybe a suspended basket. You know, they haven't completed that purchase. Their basket is there with an item sat in it. Actually sending them a notification and a nudge with maybe a coupon code after 20 minutes of that basket remaining in place might help them complete the checkout. And you can see the results are it recovers up to 70% of lost sales. So people that have walked away. You've probably all received those kind of abandoned cart notifications via email or via text. And again, we all know how well it works, especially when we're on the fence and then we get a little coupon code pushing us over the line. Good stuff. So now we're going to jump into the dashboard itself. So I'm going to take you through the ClickSend dashboard for kind of 10 minutes or so. It is going to be a whistle-stop tour, but if any of you want a demo afterwards, I can always partner you up with one of my team. We'll make sure we look after you. So let's jump into it. Just make sure that I am sharing the dashboard itself. Good stuff. So with that in mind, this is the ClickSend dashboard. So it's a web-based interface. We do have an app available on iPhone and Android as well that you can utilize, but it's all hosted in the cloud on a website. What you can see down the left-hand side here is the main route of navigation. So this is where I can route into my contact list, my SMS campaigns, and the top right-hand corner is more around balance and billing. So to start off with, I'm going to look at my contact section. ClickSend operates a lists model where you can have multiple contact lists in place. So you might have existing customers, potential customers, abandoned cart customers, for example. And all we would do is click on the blue plus button, give this list a title, click on add. And from here, I can either manually type in contact details or I can upload a CSV or an Excel file and pull those contact details into place. You'll see here, I've already created a webinar contact list just with myself in. Please don't sign me up to anything dodgy because you can see my phone number. And you'll also see that I've got what we call custom fields. So custom fields are custom bits of information around that individual. So this will allow you to send out personalized text messages using placeholders rather than generic notifications. So down the left-hand side, once again, I'm going to head to the SMS campaign section now. Within this, I can see any existing campaigns I've sent out, or I can start a brand new campaign by pressing once again that blue plus button. I'm going to just call this webinar test, but you can name the campaign whatever you like. Select who it's going to, so it brings through all of that contact list that we showed you a second ago. I'm just going to grab my example one. Where are you sending from? So where you're sending from depends where in the world you are. So if you're based in the UK, for example, you've got the option of sending out as an alpha tag, so a business name, which is a one-way message. People cannot reply to that. Or you can rent a dedicated number from us and send from a physical mobile phone number, which people can then reply to. In this instance, I'm sending out a marketing message, so I'm just going to send out using an alpha tag. So I've got my alpha tag here, all registered and ready to go. Then I begin to type my message. So I can type out my message, hi first name, and start to personalize it. Or I can use some templates. I've already pre-built a template, which I'm just going to find now. And there it is. So you'll see in my message, hi first name. So that's pulling through from the contact list. Hi, Dan. Your last order of custom 1, which in this case was Pro V1 golf balls, was on custom 2, the 28th of February. Time to restock. Use code GOLF2025 at the checkout. Head to, and I've just used the ClickSend website, but you would be able to use your own personal website there to route people to. Now, again, because it's a marketing message, I would need to offer people the ability to opt out. Now, I touched on it a second ago. If I'm sending from a business name, people are unable to reply to that. So I would need to give them the ability of unsubscribing using a link. So I can just click on that unsubscribe link, and you'll see within my message body, it's now added that stop message link in place, which people could click on. Alternatively, if I'm sending from a phone number, I can ask people to reply stop if they want to unsubscribe. Great stuff. So the next up is, once I've sent that campaign out, how do I know how well it did? Well, ClickSend offers URL tracking. So we have the ability of shortening a URL. And this will allow me then to see the message that was sent out and the results from that campaign. So I sent this just to one recipient, which was myself. I used our short URL feature, which is just inside of that composing the SMS section. And in a second, this should pull up how many times that link has been opened. So you can see that link's been opened 3 times. I physically on my phone opened it, closed it, opened it, closed it, opened it, closed it. It's been opened by one unique individual. A nice thing to be described as unique, but that is just me. You can see that it will report whether or not it was opened, but a lot of the smarter phones these days have a pre-automated check. So I use a Google Pixel phone. It does recognize that as a bot opening it because Google pre-check it to make sure that link is valid. So I would ignore these bottom 2 for now, but I would mainly focus on the top 2. Where was the person based and whether or not it's been opened multiple times and by how many individuals. Now, the question is who opened it? So I can scroll down here and you can see it was indeed myself. Now, if I'd have texted multiple people, myself, Pete, Stuart, for example, you'd be able to see everybody listed here and whether or not they clicked on the link specifically. So it would say Stuart did not click on the link. Harry did click on the link. I can then export that data and retarget them with another message as needed. Now, if you're sending out as two-way messaging, so using a phone number, you're inviting people to reply. And within the ClickSend platform, we've got a messenger section where this would hold all conversations that you've had, and you'll be able to see messages that I've done as tests, and you'll be able to reply back to that individual on a one-on-one basis. So you send out to the masses and then reply one-on-one. Once I finish that conversation, so I'm just going to say, thanks, Dan, I can then click on this little blue arrow or blue paper airplane, click on send, and off that message will go, and then it will be delivered on my handset. As I've now finished chatting to Dan, I can close that conversation down and you'll see it kind of grays it out effectively. So it means that conversation's been actioned. I can look at my statuses of all my messages, just open messages or just closed messages, and start to work my way through. Now, what happens if you've got a team of multiple people that are working on the platform? This messenger section is shared across your users. You can tell it not to be, but it is by default, which means if Alex were to log in, he could then see that I've closed this message and I've actioned everything needed. But this one here, for example, is bold, it's open. Alex knows that maybe he needs to action it. So in the top right-hand corner, I can click up here, head to my account settings, and this is where I add what we call sub-accounts. So sub-accounts is basically additional users within the platform. So I can click on add sub-account, type in Alex's details, give Alex a username and password, and set the permissions for Alex that I don't want Alex to be able to add other users. I don't want him to look at billing, for example, but everything else I'm okay with Alex doing. Perfect. So just a reminder, if you've got any questions, you can add them to the Teams chat and Alex will be on hand to address it. We've got to keep Alex busy, so please do fire questions in there. Great stuff. I touched on templates earlier. So just once again, inside the template section, we can create a brand new template, which is available from that drop down. Call it whatever you like. Add in those placeholders, so first name, so that will pull in that hi Rob, for example, and then the custom fields as needed. Great stuff. So a couple of other little bits that ClickSend do offer is in some countries we offer MMS, which is picture messaging. Primarily that's available in America and Australia and Canada. We also offer voice services, so actual physical calls. This isn't you calling somebody up and speaking to them. This is kind of a bot calling up, maybe for a notification such as your car is ready after having an MOT, for example. We also offer fax. Yes, it is still a thing. So we do offer fax, and we offer post as well. So post allows you to send physical direct mail to the recipients, in which they would physically get a letter or a postcard through their door. I touched on the integrations piece as part of the slide deck. So we integrate with loads of different integrations. We've got an integrations marketplace in which you'd be able to head in, search for your integration, let's say Active Campaign, and you'll see this is where we would integrate with ActiveCampaign, and there's a step-by-step guide in terms of how to do so. ClickSend integrates with hundreds of different applications, so you'll definitely be able to find what you need there. We also work with APIs. So if you are a developer or you've got a developer in the house, you'd be able to utilize our API documentation to integrate ClickSend into your existing platform or existing CRM. Now, a couple of last little bits before we jump back into the slide deck is the balance. So ClickSend operates a prepayment model. So we don't charge you based on your end of month consumption, so costs won't spiral out of control. You simply top up an amount within the ClickSend dashboard, and then from here, you would then be able to receive a certain amount of credit. So as an example, if I topped up £10, imagine like a prepayment phone, top up £10, I would get 311 text messages as part of that. That would cost me 3.21 pence per message. But as I top up more, let's say £300, I then get a better rate per message of just over 3 pence. And if I top up all the way up to the dizzy heights of £4,000, I get 155,000 messages at a cost of 2.57 pence each. In our world, we're talking about fractions of pennies. So obviously it might seem like not a huge difference, but obviously it adds up the more messages you send out. ClickSend sends globally as well. So if you are an organization which has got a global customer base, you'll be able to change your country here and maybe see what the pricing is in the United States of America and see how much credit you get or how many messages you get for your credit over there. It is a single balance pot that then gets used up in the UK, in America, in France, and it's simply one balance that you would use. Good stuff. So ClickSend also offers an automatic top-up feature. So if you're busy topping up, if you're busy sending out campaigns, you don't want to worry about constantly checking the funds, ClickSend will automatically charge that card you've got on file based on the criteria you've set. So when my balance goes below £5, top it up with £20, and then ClickSend will do that automatically. Good stuff. Any questions so far? I've not seen any questions come into the chat, so just a reminder, we do offer that Q&A area, which Alex is manning. Perfect. So I'm just going to give you guys 30 seconds or so to type any questions you've got into the Q&A section, and then we will jump back to the slide deck. It means I can also have a sip of my water. Great question, Ian. So what are the regions we cover apart from the UK? So ClickSend covers, I think it's well over 150 countries that we can send to. So inside of the dashboard itself, I can type in, say, Zambia, and you'll see Zambia comes up here. I can then search for Australia, America, France, Germany, Italy, all of those, and be able to send out across the world just with a single platform. Now, this is one thing that separates ClickSend from some of our competitors. Some of our competitors only send out in the UK or only send out in America, whereas ClickSend is a truly global platform. Another question I saw was, do we integrate with Go High Level? We do indeed. So we launched our Go High Level integration about a month or so ago. So within the Go High Level platform, you will see the official ClickSend integration, which you'd be able to utilize. Theo said, do we also offer a webinar and voice calls? We don't, Theo, but what I can do after this is I can link you up with one of our sales team who will do a personalized demo with you to address any questions you've specifically got. So I'll email you after this, Theo. I've got your email address and I'll pair you up with somebody to give you a bit of guidance on that one. Thank you, Alex. Alex has shared the integration for the Go High Level link for anybody that is interested in that one. Good stuff. No worries, Rob. Perfect. So with that in mind, I'm going to jump back to the slide deck, and then we will begin to wrap up the webinar with any final Q&A. There we go. Hopefully you can all see that once again. So a couple of things we've really covered off today is SMS is fast. You know, it gets delivered in typically under 6 seconds from the point you click send on our platform. So it's delivered straight to that person's handset. We know, as we covered earlier, they look at their phones 340 plus times a day. You're going to get results, so an average conversion rate of 29%. Now, obviously, it depends on the product you're sending out. If you're trying to send out en masse to people who maybe aren't interested in the product, you're not going to reach that level of conversion. And that's why you need to ensure you've got a good opt-in. So an opt-in is where someone says, I'm interested in your product. Can you send me more information? It saves you time with automations. We just have the question around Go High Level, which we automate with and integrate with. But it just saves you that manually going into a platform, manually typing stuff out, using those templates, using those automations. And it builds relationships with your customers. It lives in that same thread on their phone, much like when you get messages from your partner or your friends, same thread on the phone, so they can see all the messages you've sent them over a period of time. So the final bit, and then we'll just stick around for any final Q&As, is you will get free SMS starter packs. So we will email you all within 24 hours with 2 of our expert e-guides, which will talk around why SMS works in a little bit more detail, so you can share that with your marketing team or your CFO. You'll get a free trial of ClickSend, so you can sign up to the ClickSend website to create your own ClickSend account today, and I'll show you that in just a few seconds. And you'll also get £20 worth of credit to send on the ClickSend platform, which is going to be about 700 SMS that you'll be able to try with no obligation at the end of it as well. So I did talk through signing up for a ClickSend account, so I'm going to show you that quickly. And I will just jump to our website. So on the ClickSend website, in the top right-hand corner here, we have a sign up button. And from here, you'll be able to simply create your own account. And once you're into that account, mine's going to auto sign in. You will be greeted back on this dashboard, which you saw earlier. As I said, you'll get £20 worth of free credit, which will be added onto your account. You just need to email us back once we send out that initial notification with those e-guides and the webinar recording, and just say, hey, here's my user ID, which you can find in the top right corner here. You'll see user ID. Just share that number with the team, and then we will add the £20 on for you. Good stuff. So that was a real high level overview. As I said, I'm more than happy to partner you up with one of our team to go through a personalized demo looking at your specific needs and requirements. But are there any more questions to fire across? Another sip of water for me. Do you integrate with Zapier? Good question, Mark. So we do. So inside of the integrations piece that I showed you earlier, we've got our all integrations. This way you can search for a specific integration, or you can utilize Zapier. So Zapier is a piece of middleware. So let's say you want to connect Facebook leads with ClickSend. You can use Zapier to do so. So you simply connect app A to app B. So you can see ClickSend is app A. Search for, let's say, Facebook leads, and then you begin to build out your workflows. And we've pre-built some for you alongside Zapier. So as soon as somebody signs up, send them a text message. As soon as somebody gets added to a certain contact list, send them a Facebook notification, whatever it may be, all done through Zapier. Zapier is a separate product from ClickSend. They do have their own subscription fee, but it's a great way to build out flows. You know, if this happens, do this, then wait 3 days, then do this, then do that. So Zapier is a great place to look if you're looking to automate some of your flows. Great stuff. A few more questions are coming in. Well, I'm going to start with, I've lost a couple of the questions that have come in. With the recent updates to the UK requirements for businesses using SMS, will new ClickSend users need to provide any specific business information? Good question, Tally. So ClickSend are a premium supplier. So we use what we call direct routes, which means we've got direct relationships with all the carriers across the world. And what we do is when you sign up, we ask for your business name, we ask for your business domain. We also then look at the content you want to send out. So when you first send out a text message, we ask you ideally to register your website with us. That allows us then to look at the contents inside of the website you're directing people to. And this allows us to vet the URL to make sure it's safe so that people don't accidentally send out spam or scams, for example. So we do recommend you go in here and register your website. If you forget to do that, don't worry. As part of sending out the SMS, our team will then go and look at that website and again approve it as part of that. So from a ClickSend point of view, we just need your business name when you sign up. It always helps to have a business email when you sign up. It adds to a lot of credence in terms of who it is that's utilizing the platform. But if you're a business with a Gmail account, for example, that's also fine. We just review the content that anybody sends out as part of that. Good stuff. So next question was from Olivia. Is there an option for help setting up our account? It's quite a messy setup when I've looked at SMS options previously with potentially other suppliers. Yeah, definitely, Olivia. What we'll do is after this call, I'll drop you an email and I'll partner you up with one of our sales team who will jump on a personalized demo with you, who will assist you in terms of getting your account set up, maybe uploading your first contact list and even setting up your first campaign if that's what you want to cover off. Good stuff. A few more have come in. Rob has said, can I use the database with reactivation campaigns? Yeah, exactly that, Rob. So as long as people have opted in to receiving SMS messages, you definitely can. So you can import that contact list just in that contact section I showed earlier, and then be able to send out a campaign en masse. Equally, once you send out that campaign, just a quick refresh, you can look at that campaign and look at who did click on the link, or even filter it to who didn't, and maybe send them a more aggressive marketing campaign with a better coupon code, for example. Olgan, I think I've pronounced that right. Is it possible to trigger a webhook when a message is received? Yes, indeed. So within the ClickSend platform, in the top right-hand corner, under the messaging settings, we have what we call inbound rules. So an inbound rule is once a message receives, do something. So I can add a new rule, call this rule webinar test, for example. I can set certain criteria. So when I receive a text on this phone number and the message contains the word golf, going to keep using that golf theme, the action then is going to be to push that to a URL, which is where you'd push your webhook. And that webhook would then allow you to grab that ClickSend message and pull it into another platform or another API system as needed. Good stuff. The next part of that, to avoid missing out on those active users, can we trigger a webhook when someone replies to the message? Yeah, exactly that. And again, you can filter it by all messages or if the message contains a certain keyword. Ian asked around exceeding the character count. So that's a great question. I know that Alex has addressed it, but it's one that's worth having a quick look at. So if I start a brand new campaign quickly, jump into the message, I'm just going to use that webinar template that you saw earlier. Webinar golf balls. And you'll see down the very bottom here, currently my character count is approximately 156 characters. It's approximately because I've got placeholders in there. So using somebody like hi Ian, that's obviously I'm going to use 3 characters, but using William is going to use 7 or 8 characters. So it's approximately 157, which is 1 text per person. Now, if I just grab some text and just paste it in, you'll see that character count increase. So approximately 188 characters, 2 texts per person, and so on and so forth. As I keep increasing it, the character count goes up and the SMS per recipient goes up as well. Again, it is a short messaging service, so we don't recommend having something that is War and Peace, but a good short message, snappy message with some clear CTAs. Cool, Alex has answered that one as well. Good stuff. Keep the questions coming if you've got any more. Shared numbers and unique numbers, Rob has asked. Good question, Rob. So in the from section, you'll see I've got the ability of using a shared number or a dedicated number or an alpha tag. As I touched on earlier, different countries have different rules. So in the UK, we can send out as an alpha tag, a business name, but in America, you cannot. In the UK, you can rent a dedicated number, which is a 2-way number, which reflects as your number. Nobody else will have access to that number at all, which again means when you're messaging people, it will appear in the same thread. And in America, dedicated numbers are a necessity. But in some countries, we also support a shared number. So a shared number is a random pool of numbers that ClickSend owns that we let you utilize for that campaign. So I send out a message today saying, hey, here's 10% off of golf balls, and I use my shared number. Great, that message would get delivered. And then I send a message out on Friday saying, here's 20% off. It would come from a different number potentially. So that's something to be cautious of. That's why we recommend using a dedicated number if you're trying to identify as a business or share out your business details or promotions, so it appears in the same thread rather than random phone numbers. The cost of dedicated numbers, if I click on sender IDs and buy a number, it will then take me into our numbers section. And you can see here in the UK, it's £2.40 per month per number. So in the top right-hand corner, we've got our balance. That would simply come out of my balance on the 1st of each month as part of me owning that number. And again, I can buy numbers in different countries. So if I do want to send to America, I can look in America and you'll see America is slightly different, but it says what information is needed in terms of registering a number there. Olgun's come back and said, is it possible to connect Twilio or RingCentral numbers? So we can port numbers across to ClickSend. So that's something we can definitely chat around, Olgun. So we can port numbers across from Twilio. For those that don't know, Twilio are a competitor of ours. We're much better though, as you can see from the webinar. But yeah, we can port numbers across from Twilio into ClickSend, and RingCentral numbers, that's one we'd have to look at, because if we port the number, you may lose the calling ability. One thing you can do, and we can always chat around this a little bit more. No worries, Ian. Thanks for your time. One thing you can do is you can register your own phone numbers. So you can see here, I've registered my number, which means I can actually send out a text message from my personal phone number. And then if people reply, it would then come back to my physical handset rather than inside the ClickSend platform. So if you're somebody that's on the road quite a lot, you can actually send out a message en masse. Maybe you're a boiler servicer, send out a message to all your customers saying, hey, it's that time of the year as we head into winter. Send it from your phone number en masse. They reply, it comes back to your handset itself. Now, the question may be, well, why don't I just use my phone anyway to send out the messages? Carriers in the UK view it as spam if you start to send out your 300 messages at a time from your personal number, and your number will be blocked, which is why platforms like ClickSend exist to stop that happening. But we can use your number to send messages out. You just need to verify it, and you'll get an OTP code as part of that. Good stuff. Any more questions? Going to leave it for another minute or so, and then we will wrap up here. As I said, after the webinar, you will get a copy of the recording. You'll also get those 2 e-guides and £20 worth of bonus credit that you can utilize, send out 700 texts or so, give it a try, and hopefully from there, utilize ClickSend moving forwards. Perfect. I think we are all good. Great stuff. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for joining. It's been great spending time with you all. My name's Dan. As I said, if you need any support, just reach out directly. No worries, Rob. Glad you could join us. And we'll hopefully see you all soon on the ClickSend platform. The final bit, in the bottom right corner, we've got this little handy icon. This is where you can live chat to our support team. They are 24/7, 365. So if you've got any questions around the platform, jump in there. You can ask for me there as well. If I'm available, I'll definitely jump on the chat with you. But for now, that is the end of the webinar. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you all soon.